Yeah, no, it's good.
That's good. Mm-hmm. Hey, hello. Does it work now? Can you all hear me and can you see me? This is amazing. Thank you so much for joining us all. This is so lovely. It's been an amazing last few days, and we've seen the community basically grow by the minute when we started putting the website online. And now we are up to more than 150 people. This is very exciting. I will just quickly mention the team. Like, we were with Roberto, with Austin, with Isil, with Remy, with Anibal. We were connected these last days, and with Sophie also, to build a website that we call the BrainWeb, where the idea is that we can all work together on a permanent basis, find our projects, find collaborators, and connect. And I will quickly go here to bring more people on screen, and then I will share my screen. Please bear with me. It's the first time that I'm trying to use Crowdcast. No, that was wrong. No, here. Yes, I'm inviting Austin, for example. And I would like to share my screen with you.
Hello. Okay, so can everyone hear me?
Can you mute and unmute yourself? For the moment, I'm... Okay, now I can hear you.
Yeah, okay. Hi, everyone. So, thanks for joining us. So, I guess...
Screen sharing done.
What?
Screen
sharing is up at the top. I can share my screen. It's up at the top. Do you have it?
Yeah, yes. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Yeah, share my screen.
Okay. So.
Oh, do you all see my screen? Okay, so we greet you with a kind of animation where we thought that's like the BrainWeb, how we imagine it, all these little dots getting interconnected and wandering around and discovering each other. And so we just created this space where we hope that collaboration can start and we can find each other and work as a community together more and more. And now in these times, it seems that this is more and more important, and just like a lovely kickoff for us to finally start working on this idea, which has been around for quite a while. So when you connect to the BrainWeb, you get a quick introduction of what we do care about, where we want to create this space where we learn about our projects as well. So one of the ideas we've been pondering about is that we will make a newsletter where you don't present your own project, but you present a project from the community, from someone else of your community. And so this way we get to learn each other and each other's projects even more. And the idea is to connect like every 6 weeks on a permanent basis, just for a coffee and catch up, where we can get the latest on your project progress and or new ideas you've been working on, and can update each other and invite people for new projects that we may want to start. And so on the events part, we now have our kickoff, and we want to start into the next 3 days of a hackathon together. And we have the lovely projects have been popping up on the website more and more. We are so happy. And here, this part is new and important to know. We put up an agenda here, where this part is linked to a Google Doc. And now I had to restart my Chrome here. The link is given on the BrainWeb as well. So if you click here, you will get to that Google Doc. And all you need to do is you will start putting your room name here and inventing a Jitsi Meet room and put the name of the people that you would like to join. You can all edit this document, and it will go to the website real time. I see Austin has edited his project here. Very nice. It's work in progress. It will become more pretty, but for the moment, that's how it can work, and how we can, after this big meeting, saying all hi and presenting a few projects, we can then break out into smaller rooms and keeping each other connected here and joining in and out through the different rooms that will pop up on that list, so that we can all meet each other and see each other's faces. Because in Crowdcast, unfortunately, I can only have 4 split screen and not everybody can be visible. So if we go to the project page, we have a beautiful list of projects that already are part of the BrainWeb. You may remember having seen that somewhere. How do these projects pop up on our website? It's magic and very easy. When you go to your project, I will take this one as an example. When you click on the project card, you will get to the GitHub repository. And all you had to do was add the BrainWeb topic tag here. And then it will automatically appear on the BrainWeb website. And we also include from your GitHub repo, we get the website if you have one for your project, and the Mattermost channel for collaboration and community. Do you all see my screen now better? I'm sorry. Thank you for the note. So this is the beautiful list of projects we have so far. And please don't be shy to add on the go as you come up with a new idea, or you think like, oh, I want to add my project. You just go and add the topic BrainWeb to your GitHub repo, and it will automatically appear. And if you have an image included in your README, it will also automatically appear here. And then the community page. How can you add yourself to the community? So this is the network at the moment. It grew within the several last days massively. And when you sign in, it's a sign in with GitHub, because this is basically the platform that all enables us to work together. And you don't have to be a coder to join. Like, don't be scared. It doesn't need to be coding. It can be designs, it can be idea, it can be accumulation of papers for specific topics. And so when you are signed in, you see yourself up in the right corner here, and all these little dots, and I see myself blinking here now. So if I click my own dot, then I see a list of skills that I have entered. And when I enter new skills, there's a list that will pop up for suggesting your skills. And otherwise, you can also add, if they are not available, you just type, and then you can add the skills. And you will see who you are connected to in the network graph. And there have been little bugs, so if there's something, please feel free to reach out to us. When you log in the first time, you will be a free floating dot without any connections. And then once you click on your dot and you enter the skills, you will join the network. Okay, so let's go back to, now we want a few of these projects to give you the stage and present your project to the community. And maybe Austin, you're already there. Do you want to start? I invite you again. Okay.
Okay. Hi, everyone. So yeah, the idea of the projects is that they don't have to be just 3 days and done. We can kind of, extend these out and have a bit more fun with them. So I decided to prepare something that I know absolutely nothing about, which is potentially using deep learning to make basically any image look like a T1 image. So here is my project. Let's see if I can do a screen share. And okay, so everyone see that? So my project is called T1ify, because what I want is T1s from non-T1 images. So the idea is basically just to take a T2 image and a bunch of training examples and use a deep learning algorithm of some sort. I'm not an expert in it. That's kind of why I wanted to learn from this. And see if we can make T1s. Why do we actually want to do this? Well, we want to do this because a lot of times in animal images, you get ex vivo studies, and if you want to surface, you're kind of out of luck, or you have to do some really janky messing with the contrasts. So the idea was basically to see if we can do a actual style transfer, actual generation of a fake T1, so that we can take advantage of all these great databases, like some of the things that Katya and Roberto have done with BrainBox and these massive data collections of animal brains, and get surfaces. So skills needed. You don't really actually need any skills. As I said, I don't know how to do any of this. I just wanted to learn how, so I thought this would be a fun project. But basically, if you're willing to both learn and help with generating some deep neural nets and fake T1s, I think right now we'll just start with going from T2 to T1 because we can probably use HTTP data, which is all already registered, and play with that. And I guess the end goal really is to make it a project that you have a command line interface where you just specify a modality in an image and you're good to go. You get a fake T1. So after all this, there's a breakout meeting at this link with the Jitsi. And later on, if you want to join the Mattermost channel, you're more than welcome to. And there we go. That's my project. Any questions? Now I can actually see them.
Thank you very much. That was a super nice introduction. So we wanted to kind of like have you all come up that you have projects here and tell us what's fascinating you about it. And that was a very nice start. Thank you, Austin. And one of the cool things here is also we're working together with a person that has a massive experience in machine learning. So we're ourselves learning a lot together in this project. And please don't be shy even if you don't know much about the things that have been presented now, but you want to know, that may be the perfect moment to join, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think this is really a project for learning. So.
Yes, and Austin already put like a link for the Jitsi room, and you can join him later there. And he has a Mattermost channel. And yes. So the next person, Gabriel, you would need to accept my invitation, please. Thank you, Nico. I will invite you to accept it and connecting Gabriel. Do I invite you again? Gabriel, are you still? Yes. Oh, okay, perfect. Now we can see you. Hello. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Would you like to share your screen, or would you like me to pull up the project page? Or
Actually, I would like to share my screen, but the thing is like the app is frozen at this moment, so it doesn't update somehow.
Okay. Usually when you hover over your own screen, you should see on top 4 images where one of them should suggest that you can share your screen. Do you see those?
Yes. I think maybe it's my computer problem. Oh. So, I mean, my computer crashed, if you can't hear me.
I can hear you.
So maybe we continue with Nico, and then I kind of restart this, and I can be next. If it's no problem. Okay.
Thank you so much. I hope it will help.
Hopefully.
Restart, maybe. I had to restart my Chrome, so in the beginning it was also...
Okay, yes, because now it's like really, I just see a white screen, so...
Okay. Nico, I invited you to join the screen.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great. So I will talk about 2 projects today, or 2 related projects, and let me share my screen. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, great, thanks. So some of you might be familiar with the Primate initiative. It's basically a collaboration between different labs that do neuroimaging in non-human primates. And they set up this big collaboration platform where they pull together data acquired from different labs across multiple species of monkeys. And you can have different datasets here, which you can find on the website of the Primate collaboration. And last September, we had a meeting, the members of this collaboration had a meeting in London, and this meeting was combined with a brain hack event. It was called Brain Hack Comparative MRI. And one of the projects that began in this brain hack is this Primary project. Primary basically stands for Primate Resource Exchange. So it's supposed to be a companion to the data exchange that is PrimeD, but this is about sharing mainly code and tools. So we started this together with Chris, who is also here in the chat and in the event, and also with some other people. And the idea was the following. So we wanted basically to create a hub for collecting all resources that people have related to primate neuroimaging. And the problem with that is that some of you will be familiar with human imaging. And in human neuroimaging, you have all these amazing tools that work mostly right off the box. FreeSurfer, AFNI, FSL, and so on. You can use all of them. You can combine. You can use fMRI prep and so on. But unfortunately, when it comes to animal MRI or primates, which we are interested in, all of these things do not work out of the box. So you need to basically hack them to make them work. And every lab has a small hacks that they know how to do, but they don't publish or they don't become parts of the papers. So the idea was to, on the one hand, collect all the resources that are already out there and that are published and we know of, and to also encourage people in labs to share their local hacks with us of how they deal with the problems associated with primate neuroimaging. So if you have any resources related to primate neuroimaging, I would ask you to go on this website and contribute. So you can open an issue on GitHub. And then this template comes up. And with this template, you can fill all the info about your project or your tool and how it's documented, and if there's any publication associated with it, or if there is any usage restrictions, any credit that needs to be assigned, and then we will put you on the website. And the goal for being in this brain hack for us today is to look for people who have some experience in web design, because we don't. That's why our page looks a bit dull, unlike the BrainWeb page, because it's just written in Markdown, basically, which is converted to HTML. So if you have any experience regarding web design and how to make this page basically prettier and more usable, yeah, come with us, join us, and we can work out what to do. Are there any questions regarding primary? Otherwise, I can move to the second project.
Thank you so much for the lovely presentation. Yes, this is an awesome initiative. When you have these big data curation initiatives, now having a big tool curation initiative on the site is just amazing. Thank you so much. And I'd be super happy to join for the web.
Great to have you.
We'll be joining
Biggest fan, yes. I don't know where to go first. Like, the projects are also amazing. I would like to multiply myself. The Remap project. I will leave the stage to you. I tried to invite Chris. Please feel free to join us, Chris.
Yeah, it would be great to have Chris as well here. Yeah. So meanwhile, while Chris is trying to come up, I will also talk about the second project I put on the BrainWeb, which is called Remap. It's a wordplay on rhesus, macaque, and remapping, which Chris came up with. And the idea is that in human neuroimaging, you basically have the MNA template, which is the go-to template that all people register their volume data to. And you also have the FreeSurfer average template, or the FS average, which is like the equivalent for surface analysis. But in macaque neuroimaging, there is no such thing. So we have all these different templates that come from different labs, and we have no agreement on which one is the universal common space for us to put our results in. Oh, hey, Chris.
Hi.
So maybe you can continue to talk about the remap.
Oh, no, you're doing fine. Just keep going.
Okay, thanks. So the idea we had with Chris here is to basically, we would like to have a way of going from one space to another as easily as possible. Let's imagine a use case where you have your data in one space, one template space, and you want to use a parcellation that's published in a different space, and you want to bring those together. So normally you would register the two templates. But to get a good quality registration, you usually need a good computer and quite some time and knowledge how to use the good registration tools. So here we use the ANTs, which I'm quite familiar with, to generate nonlinear warps between each pair of these templates, and we uploaded the templates on Zenodo, so they are there for people to use. And we also, in the GitHub repository, we included the notebook, the Jupyter notebook, for how these warps were computed. So if you need to do a similar thing for another template or for a dataset you have, you can follow the steps and generate a nonlinear warp similar to the one we have here. And we also included a notebook of how to apply these warps if you download them to your own data. And I know there are already a lot of ideas of how to take this project further that I heard from people from other BrainWeb members. One idea would be to repeat the same steps, but in the surface. So instead of doing volumetric alignments, to do surface-based alignments of these templates, which would be very nice. And I know there are some people with a lot of expertise in surface analysis here, which could help. And another idea was to basically collaborate with the AFITS project, which somebody, I guess, will talk about later, to generate fiducials, anatomical fiducials, specific for macaques, to be able to also evaluate the quality of our registrations. So that's the basic idea behind it. And the skills required for this project, I would say it's nice if you know how to use Python and Jupyter notebooks, and probably ANTs and FreeSurfer will be tools that will come up and be used a lot. Anything to add, Chris? Did I forget anything?
Well, the warps that we already calculated, you can download them from Zenodo. They're out there. I don't know if you mentioned that, but
yeah, it's the link is in the GitHub, and it leads you to the Zenodo folder where you can download them.
The nice thing about Zenodo is that this gives us the opportunity to reuse Chris's and Nikolos's work, and at the same time we can credit them. It's available via a DOI where we can say, okay, these two people have provided us with the warps that we are using here, and gives a direct reference. And that's why we love using Zenodo.
Oh, yeah, that's great. And I forgot to mention, if any of you doesn't know much about registration or ANTs, wants to talk about or has problems with applying the warps, I will be available for these 3 days. So contact me and I can walk you through or help you solve the problems you have.
So the plan would be that after finishing the project pitches, we each can go to a Jitsi room, which are free, and like in a committee, we can discuss and present more in depth our project. Okay,
so I can create links, GC rooms for this project.
There's a Google spreadsheet where if you see the names there, we will get all the links.
Yeah, great. Thanks. So I guess we can move on.
And a note to the community. So now you saw, like you already met the 2 nice project leads, and they have been pinging forth and back also on Mattermost. They've been testing their code themselves, like the 2 of them, and vice versa. And so if you want to go and test their pipelines, they're super helpful and very responsive, and don't be shy. I will next up invite Jonathan, who is the lead of the project that Nicolas already mentioned. One of you, I have to make you go away. I'm sorry, Crowdcast calls me. Thank you so much for the presentations.
Can you see me?
Yay, there we go. Hello.
Never tried this before. It'd be good if one of Nico or Chris could stay on, but we could also leave the discussion for after. I mean, it's kind of related, but I'll start by sharing my screen and do it. And thanks again to the organizers. This is a really cool idea, and just the perfect sort of platform we need in these days with physical distancing. Hope everybody's doing well. Can you see my screen here?
Yes, I can. Thank
Okay. So these slides are also on our Git repository. So we want to present to you the project Aphids Macaca. So it's an extension of an open framework we created for evaluating spatial correspondence between brain images. And we first developed it in humans, and we have the links there. You can also go on the Git website to see. And so we wanted to extend this to macaques. All the links are here through the presentation, and we rely on a bunch of open tools. This entire platform from bottom up was built with open resources in mind, so that we don't have barriers to sharing and collaboration. So we use 3D Slicer for point placement. We are trying to adapt this to bids. Of course, points and bids is still an open question to some degree, but we'd be happy to work with people who have more experience with this. A lot of our analyses, our scripts are built in Jupyter. We'd like to work with exactly what Nico was talking about there with the Prime RE group as well as the Remap group too, because it's just that it seems like a natural collaboration there. I won't belabor the points. You can look at the previous work, but basically our whole concept of this was to develop a better quantitative way of looking at correspondence between images. I think that in the last number of years, we've been the neuroimaging community has been overall quite happy with ROI-based or voxel overlap measures of establishing correspondence. But I mean, traditionally, if you look back to the days of Jean Talairac or even before, there were point-based measures. If you think about the anterior commissure, the posterior commissure, and other points. And so we thought with all the maturation of all these open source tools that we would revisit this and provide a framework that would allow us to describe how different two images are in millimeters, because it's quite helpful, and you can find subtle differences that way. So we validated this by we first proposed a set of points that we thought were reasonably easy to place, at least with millimetric level accuracy. Then we validated in templates as well as individual subjects. And then we had some example use cases where we used fMRI prep, for example, and looked at the correspondence when you brought the subject into the template space and looked at the millimetric level difference in error. We also did this to assess template to template level differences. And so, I mean, not surprisingly, even if voxel overlap demonstrates that two big features like the globus pallidus or the striatum or the thalamus, even if voxel overlap is in the 0.8, 0.9 range, there are actually, if you look here, that there are a lot of areas where there are subtle differences in the images, and some of them are not so subtle. They're more than 3-4 millimeters or up to 10 millimeters, and that's a big difference depending on the type of work you're doing. Follow up here. Sorry, it's a little slow. And this is just an example. We kind of assume that templates tend to be in the same space, but this is another figure that demonstrates that even though we think the MNI and the big brain spaces have been co-registered, that there are focal areas of misregistration. So essentially, all this together, we wanted to bring this sort of resource to people studying macaques or other NHPs, and we invite you to join us. The GitHub repository is here, and the slides are also on this webpage. If you go to the folder called Slides, so you'll have that available to download. We've made a channel on Mattermost as well.
This is awesome. Thank you so much for the presentation. That was really, really a lovely walkthrough and an amazing project. Would you like to discuss something now, or do we keep that for later for the...
I think there are some people wanting to come up, so let's move on and we can discuss with Jonathan later.
That's perfect. Then thank you very much, and we see you later in the topic rooms.
See ya.
One of you...
See you.
Sorry for the crowdcast reason. And we invite Stefano Moya. Please correct me, like with your names, it's hard to know how to pronounce them when I just read them.
Oh, it's great. You got it totally right. It's fantastic.
Hello.
Can you hear me? Hello. Well, hi everybody. I'm gonna try to share my screen. How do you do that? Here. All right, cool. Yes.
Nice whiteboard there.
Yeah.
All right, can you see my screen now, more or less?
Yes, now we can.
Probably, yeah, okay, cool. So I'm here to present Fist2Bits. Fist2Bits is a Python 3 library that is basically meant to do more or less what Bitcoin or HuDicomb is doing for DICOM files. So basically formatting physiological files acquired in knowledge or lab chart into bits format, because basically we started working with this kind of files about a year ago and realized that it's a field that is quite underserved at the moment. So we started developing this software that is currently has a lot of contributors and is currently hosted on GitHub. And we would like a lot of participation and a lot of help in developing and making it even better. And we started collecting some issues that people can start working on and help us on. In particular, there's something for people that are a bit more acquainted with pattern recognition or machine learning, and it would be a way to automatically recognize the content of the channels based on their signal. But there's also easier issues for newcomers. For instance, let me see one. Oh yeah, for instance, adding documentation pages on what is beats and why you should adopt it. And well, there's a bunch of stuff. You can come and have a look and to this milestone, to these issues that are labeled the BrainWeb, or you can look at the other issues and jump into development. And if you want to have a Jitsi channel, that should be here, this one, and you can join us whenever you want. And if you have any question, please let me know.
Woohoo! Thank you. Already created the room. That's very nice. What a lovely project. And this is so important. And like the more we share the data, the more important these standards become. And it's fantastic that you already like labeled your issues for the newcomers and for the more experienced people and like invented the BrainWeb issue. That's very nice. Lovely organization. Thank you very much for the presentation. Who's next? Do we try Gabriel again? He said, I just need to find the link to invite you. But he said he was available again. And once I in the there you go.
Perfect.
Hello.
Good. Share screen. Can you see my screen now? Can you see?
Yes, it's perfect. Thank you.
Great. Okay. Let's do something like I can see the messages here. Great. So, hi everybody. My name is Gabriel Castrillon, and I work in Energetics Labs with Valentin Riedel, who is also here in the channel, in the Technical University of Munich. And today, we wanted to we are happy to propose an idea for a project that is called Jupyter for XNAT. And as you might know, XNAT is an excellent data repository or data management system which allows us to connect directly from the scanners and our data, organize it, and even like run individual analysis on the data. And in additionally, once you have all your bunch of data, you can actually use Jupyter to connect with XNAT in a very nice way. But these two systems, and we can see here in this slide, are completely independent to each other. So At this moment, what you do is like you connect with XNAT, you grab your data, you analyze, or you do your data analysis with Jupyter, and you bring it back. But what if we will be able to integrate Jupyter inside XNAT? So instead of having these two different services independent from each other, what if we will be able to, inside of XNAT, have our notebook, Jupyter notebook, click on it, and automatically launch the Jupyter interface. So this is basically the idea that we have. And so who can contribute to this project? Basically, anyone familiar either with XNAT, Jupyter notebooks, or Docker. But if you are not familiar with any of these kind of words, any ideas are most than welcome into a project. So the main goal is to first to design kind of an architecture to link these two services, Jupyter and XNAT. Then we would like to implement the logic that once you are in XNAT, you can click in your notebook and automatically the Jupyter service can pop out with your notebook. And basically, we would like to share this with the community, like bring it back to the XNAT community and to the BrainWeb community. So that is basically the idea that we have, and we share in BrainWeb our repository, where we basically started with a set of containers organized in a Docker Compose manner, and the idea is to start based on that. That's everything that I have to share for today.
Thank you so much for the presentation. These are all awesome projects, and I still feel like I want to split myself into so many parts. Is there any immediate questions that we can ask, or do we keep it for the topic rooms? I will monitor the chat. And otherwise, who am I going to invite next? Sophie. Okay, then thank you very much for the presentation.
Okay, thanks everybody for the attention.
And I invite Sophie. I did it wrong. I'm sorry. This is also an awesome project we're inviting now. And I hope.
Hello.
Hello.
Audible?
Yes, I can hear you.
Well, how do I share my... There we go. That's not finding my presentation. I'll just share the entire screen instead.
Otherwise, you can share an application window. If it's in slides or in some...
Yeah, I got it. For some reason, it was grayed out for a second, but now it seems to work fine.
Yes, I can see it coming up. There you go.
All right, cool. Does it stay full screen now? Is it full screen? I can't see it anymore. Okay, good. So thanks for the invite. So I'm one of the lead developers of BrainSpace, which is a toolbox for analyzing the brain as so-called gradients. Basically what it does is we take whole brain connectivity patterns and we try to summarize those into just a few more understandable vectors so we can get a holistic view of brain connectivity. And just to give you a quick example, for functional connectivity, that looks like this, with gradients running from default mode to sensory and between the sensory regions. One question that I get a lot whenever I present the toolbox as it stands now is, can gradients also be computed from volume data instead of from surface data? Because all the examples in most of the published works at the surface level, which it can. Unfortunately, though, our toolbox isn't really equipped to do it yet. So the goal that at least I'd like to get to with this brain hack is to really include volumetric analysis and visualization into the BrainSpace toolkit. At the analysis level, this would mean just bringing the volume data to a 2D matrix, and at the visualization level, this means actually implementing a volume visualization tools. To that end, a BrainSpace is both a Python and a MATLAB toolbox, and we really try to make sure that any functionality that's included in one is also included in the other implementation. So useful skills for this project would be experience with Python, experience with MATLAB, or a restructured text for the documentation, for the README. If you have any experience working with volumetric data, so you sort of have a feeling for, what kind of figures would you want to see? What would be the easiest way of taking our data and visualizing it in a way that's useful to you? We'd be very happy to have you. And if you have little experience with any of those, we also just want to make it easy to use. So having little experience with any of these programming languages could be an asset for that. And that's pretty much it.
Thank you very much. It's amazing. Yeah, we just saw the paper coming out, and that was already very exciting. And
thank you.
Now we're looking forward to seeing this project grow. Thank you very much. We keep questions for dear Reinder, add any info you want. Okay, this is your collaborators?
No, do not know her.
To the document, yes. If there is no immediate questions, we will keep that also for the topic room. And maybe now invite Remy for the next project presentation. Thank you so much. And please ping me and ping us on the chat when you want to present. You may have done that earlier, but I just didn't see it, and it goes so quickly away. Hello, Remy.
Hey, hello everyone. Sharing my screen. How does that work? There we go. Cool. Are we good?
1 second. Now we are.
All right. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. There. So I'm actually going to present the project where we trying to pretty much just compile all the information, all the sort of resources and tutorials that are out there into just one sort of comprehensive list that's easy to navigate. It's mostly because you might often get that email that says, or where can I find a good tutorial for X or a good software to do Y, and then you never know where to go. Or you are tired of sending that email, replying to that email again and again. So the idea is that, oops, I cannot switch slides. Oh, yes, I can. Cool. Yeah, you're sort of tied to always replying to that same email, or just when you want to find a resource again, you have to find it. And when you start a new project, or you're a student and you want to figure out how to do stuff, then you have to Google things for yourself, and you lose a lot of time that way. And you eventually end up sending that email to a colleague saying, where can I find this? So what happens is that most of the time what we do is we start compiling our own little lists of resources. And then at the last hackathon at OHBM, Katja started creating a list, and then a lot of users just putting what they have compiled over time in there, and then a whole bunch of people just added their own resources or their links to their own stuff there. But now we have this massive list of just resources, but it needs to be sort of curated and made easier to navigate in a way. So this could go in different direction. You could use, some people have suggested we should have something that's more a bit more like a database that's you just add your stuff there, and then you can sort of sort, filter through it. So there's already neural links that exist that we can sort of adapt or reuse in some way. And then there's also the approach of we want something a bit more of a guide where, if people want to start designing the experiments, they have to go for those resources. If they want to start analyzing their data, they could use this, and this. If they want to know about open science practices, then they could go with the here and there. And obviously those two options can be combined, right? They're not mutually exclusive. So the idea is try to find a good way to sort of organize all this. The skills that could help with this project, honestly, right now we are at the level where you're going to be sort of, first of all, trying to figure out how we want to organize. So we're going to be talking about this mostly, and then But I guess you need to have some sort of like burning passion for like organizing lists and curating things. Otherwise, that might not be the most exciting things for you. I don't know. But it's also the good thing that we're pretty much starting from scratch at the moment. We basically have just a markdown document. So if you don't know much about Git and GitHub, and you want to know how to use them, and you don't want to go crazy in terms of coding experience, this is, I think, a good project to join. Do we have a roadmap? Yeah, not really, because we are still at the beginning. So step one of the roadmap is to create a roadmap, and how often planning to meet, like 2 or 3 weeks, every 2 or 3 weeks-ish, more or less. And how long do you expect the project to take? We don't know yet, because we're just at the beginning. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And there's a GitHub repository that Katja created. We have an Atomos channel, and we have a breakout room. Cool. So that's it for me. And I guess we'll have questions and everything afterwards.
Thank you very much for the presentation. And this is one of these projects that, like, it's really beautiful when you have this community effort going on. You create something, and it's basically just an idea of a tutorials and resources file. You put that up on GitHub, you go to sleep, and the next morning you wake up with a pull request where we basically put up a bunch of like tutorials and resources. That was just amazing. And then it took off and was basically curated by the whole community. And that's lovely. You will see it, like when you go to the repository, you have contributors.
Plenty of stuff already.
Yeah. And,
cool. All right.
Yes.
I'll leave my seat to someone else.
Okay. I already invited Stefan. Did you see the invitation? Yes.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
That's good. I'm sharing my screen now.
This is yours.
Yeah, that should be it. All right. Can you see my screen share?
Yes.
All right, that's good. So yeah, hello everybody, and I would like to present you maybe less structural based, or maybe more scientific project that has basically started at Brain Hack Geneva 2019, and we've called it Through Your Eyes. That's basically the main idea of the project, is that we can reconstruct visual stimuli from EEG data. So maybe I will start with the data part. I must say I'm pretty much the opposite to what the first presenter was. So I'm basically coming from the machine learning and deep learning background, and have like just the beginner knowledge of EEG and fMRI and experimental design, which is used in neuroscience. But speaking about the experiments, from what I've understood, is that we collect the data, electroencephalogram data, which you see on the right, showing people some various images from some categories. For instance, that could be some animal images like you see here, or some abstract figures like circles and triangles. So yeah, the input to our pipeline would be some EEG data of experiment that we conduct, where we show some kind of visual data to people. What we already have is some data from Russian researchers, which had 17 subjects and made 2 sessions with each of these subjects, showing them 117 visual sequences, 10 seconds each, and they've interspaced this visual sequences with 2 or 3 second long black screens, so basically pauses. Yes, the original idea is from fMRI, where this pipeline was successfully conducted is that we can extract the some features from EEG tracks or EEG signal. Then we decode these features, put them in some kind of neural network, train it, and then can reconstruct the whole image from the signal. Of course, we have some concerns. I must say that EEG is not as precise or stable as fMRI is, and so it could also fail. But well, it's some kind of research project where we really want to see whether it's possible. So the idea I have now is to just take EEG time series. Then what we have decided, and what's probably the most reasonable way to do it, is also to apply some transformation on the EEG time series. For instance, so-called discrete wavelet transformation. And after this transformation, we would get some metrics of the time series represented as some EEG transformed EEG time channels times time intervals. And on this metrics, we would apply the deep learning model. The ideas that I have for the model now are deep belief neural network, or maybe just usual multi-layer perceptron, or something else. Well, I've also started coding it down on GitHub, and I just used multi-layer perceptron, and it's just the very beginning. So the project is really very flexible. We can think of what we want to do together. I would suggest I've done it in Julia. Some of you may know this language, but don't look at this part. We can actually, I would also be totally fine with doing the deep learning pipeline in Python or any other language. And I would suggest if you're interested in the project, please contact me by this email. We'll see how many we are and decide, just maybe open the channel here on BrainWeb and decide how can we do and which way would be the best here in the project. Once again, my backlog is to take the visual EEG data and maybe first just classify scene images, then maybe we can try to reconstruct scene images. And of course, we can try reconstructing scene videos. Maybe that would also work. I'm not sure. So I put some references here, and I'll be very glad to hear from you and your questions after the session. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the presentation. That was very nice, very deep, and very interesting. And I think it's a good, like we mentioned, the point that you would create a channel on the BrainWeb Mattermost, or the BrainHack Mattermost. Sure. Like a perfect communication platform for we have very good experiences with it. It can become very lively, and it's nice for organization across all the time zones because it keeps history. Also, you won't it's not like Slack that you risk losing history, but it will keep everything. Like you can go back always to the start of the project. Now that we don't have a fixed 3 days, we hope for continuous projects and
Okay, so I will create a channel called Deep Visual on Mattermost, and there we can also talk instead of writing emails.
If you put the link in the README of your repo, it will be BrainWeb will get it, and it will be displayed with the card of your project.
Okay, I'll do it this way. Thank you.
We can help.
Yes.
All right. Goodbye.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye. Now, or is there any project that you would like to present that I may have overlooked during the very activity in the chat? Oh, thank you so much for the kind feedback. It's work in progress, and we are learning from all together. And we hope that it will grow and become even better. I will try to invite some of the, I can only invite 3 more people, unfortunately. But just to say, quickly catch up on the next step now, because we were thinking it could be nice that now we all spread into the topic rooms. We have the links on the website and we can all discuss with each other. And that we meet here again on Crowdcast in like 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Does that sound good?
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. And somebody wants to share screen?
Well, I was gonna say, so do we maybe want to do like an example project of how you can make your GitHub repo a BrainWeb topic, or BrainWeb project? Anyone interested in doing that? Okay, so it's about as easy as you can get. I'll share my screen really quickly and do it then.
I have to. Does Stefan want to say something, because I see a shared screen.
Oh yeah, we still have Stefan's screen shared. Okay.
I just close this.
Should I
share your screen? I need to close one of them so that you
all right. I'll go, and then you can share your screen.
Okay, whatever works. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys really quickly how to make a BrainWeb project. So share screen. Okay, and here's hide. How do I make it big instead of the small one? Okay.
I will do that.
So,
sorry, I'm here. Good.
So if we go to, this is my GitHub, and here I have a little field map script for Philips, because sometimes that's not easy. And of course, I'm going to figure out how to do this right now. Am I signed in? Uh-oh. Gotcha, I forgot. Oh, no, here it is. Okay, so if you go to Manage Topics, you can type BrainWeb, and done. And now if we go to the BrainWeb website, we can go to projects. And here it is. So that's all you need to do to create a project for the BrainWeb. It's as easy as it is. And you can take any repository you have, or you can make a new one. So yeah, that's it.
And we're adding currently a second topic, which will be the train web. So if there's a tutorial you want to run, or if you have code development, you want people to come test it for you, you can tag it train web, and then it will also appear on the BrainWeb website. But that's certain purpose. It doesn't happen at the moment, but it will come next feature.
We can try to do that in the BrainWeb project.
Yes.
Yeah, sounds great. So, okay.
And now, so that we go all off, we will meet you in 30 minutes again. I just want to give a huge shout out to everybody who was helping in the background here. So thank you very much, Isil, Rini, Austin. Anibal is our YouTube hero. He's also logged in at the moment and making that everything will appear on YouTube. And so if you haven't had the chance, or you know people that haven't had the chance to connect live, they can go watch it on our channel later and see the project pitches live, and then join the Mattermost channel and come to the project. Okay, let's all go to the project rooms, and don't feel like you have to stick to one room. We encourage people to really wander out and in, as if you were in a brain hack space, and try to wander between the different projects to find out where you want to work first, and then maybe second, or maybe all the time. Okay.
It's probably one of the few conferences where it's fine to stick your nose, checking your messages in your computer. No?
Exactly. So we encourage everyone highly to
check
do
your
that.
messages.
And then shall we say we meet here again in Crowdcast, same link, same password, in 30 minutes. Like, it's better to say in 30 minutes because we have so many different time zones joining. Okay?
Yes.
See you all in a bit. Hello, can you hear me? Oops. Can you put the new link on the... Are you on Mattermost in the organization channel? I'm not sure if it's working. Hi. Hi, Lisa. Can you hear me?
New link.
New link. I'm sorry. Okay, seems some people are coming back. I'm sorry. Let's wait for a moment so that people can catch up with the idea that I messed it up and we need a new link now, and so that we have folks back. I hope you had a great time joining the topic channels. I have been trying to jump out and in for so many. Just like in real conferences, I wanted to jump from one room to the next. Is there anybody who would like to share experience with us? You just have to ping me on the chat and then I can invite you on stage. The link was on Mattermost?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, welcome back, everybody. Thank you for the kind words that now we have 2 sessions recorded. It's all going to be on YouTube, and Anibal will share the link with us afterwards. Caffeine has been acquired, that's good. Yeah, it's nice. We spend so many time zones that for us it's now the evening and we have a hot chocolate.
You can invite someone to watch it.
Yes, I was asking people if they want to share some experience from the breakout rooms, but so far nobody said yes. Hello, welcome back, Nicolos. Would you like to share your experience from the breakout session with us? It was a very lively chat, like you were trying to be on 2 rooms at the same time. Can I invite you? Thank you.
Hi.
Oh.
I just wanted to comment on the crowdcasting because you probably figured it out by now, but you can set up a multi-session event, and then the link won't change. Just for the future of this event, if you can, because I think we had a 1-session event, so when the session ended, then we couldn't stay on the same. Is that correct?
Oops.
I guess.
That's what happened.
But the cool thing is that you can schedule different events at different times, and then they will appear on the top left. The schedule will appear, and then you can see the schedule of the.
That's fantastic advice. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, we should also make a big shout out to Conrad, actually, who is sharing his Crowdcast.com account with us, because we don't have one. So it's really nice. Thank you so much, Conrad. And so we are learning now with you on the go. Thank you for bearing with us. So and thank you for sharing these tips. That's very, very useful.
In which project you will be working, like in 3 different projects?
I don't know. I mean, I was now in 2 different rooms. So sorry, Katja. Katja was in one of them, but managed to communicate anyway. But we will find another time to talk about these projects. But yeah, I mean, it's a learning experience for all of us. So we will need to fail fast and to find the best ways to organize this. So thanks for taking the initiative.
So which way the projects, the RE and
Remap.
Okay.
So Remap, we already talked a lot with the people behind the AFIDS project, and we have already some collaboration ideas there. Regarding Primary, I didn't find the time to talk about that yet, but it's mainly about the web design, as you know. So we can continue chatting on Mattermost about that.
Yep. Yeah, and you already have the Mattermost channel that has been going on for some time.
Yeah. So Mattermost channels are there, and the rooms in Jitsi are there. So we'll stay in touch.
Did you have new collaborators that were coming to?
In Remap, yes. So let's see. Let's hope this develops into a collaboration with AFIDS. So maybe two projects can produce something together.
Cool. So I was in the meeting for Austin's project, the T1E5, and it was quite successful. There was a lot of people. Katia was there longer than me. She can probably tell more. But I imagine that they are still discussing there. It was very lively. I don't see any.
I guess we have a lot of machine learning people here.
They're discussing. Yeah. It was very nice. It was a very diverse group of people with lots of experience from deep learning and people with imaging experience, and they were discussing like, do we move with TensorFlow or with PyTorch, and then what's the most effective way? Do we go CPU, GPU, DPU, Google Colab? Really, really nice. And like everybody was a newcomer in one of these techniques, and everybody was experienced in another part. So I think it's going to be amazing. Yep. It's a learning.
And so what the starting point for Austin? I'm talking in his behalf, is that he's working with these pigs, no? Because that's the main subject in the lab where he's based now. And so the idea is very often when you have animal data, it comes in T2, and you would like to make the T1 so that you can run algorithms like the surface reconstruction from free surface and stuff. So the idea would not be like the big part of the challenge may be that it's not only trying to go from a human T2 to a human T1, but also from an animal T2 and an animal T1. So something that could be potentially relevant for the primate brain.
I know this problem because I will be definitely a user of this if this works. So I'm looking forward to 3 days from now to download the tool and run it on my data, because I work with a lot of data from Highfield in rodents. And you have the same problem. So T1 contrast is not the best there. So you have to use T2 for anatomical contrast. But then it's very hard to make that work with free surfer or anything like that. So I'm looking forward to Austin's project's outputs.
In our case, it's the ferret. We have a lot of T2 data from ferrets. And at the moment, we use Katia Surfer for the surface reconstruction. And our tools that like we have been using this BrainBox tool for segmenting online, that if someone is interested in manual segmentation of weird brains, I think that we have quite some experience. Now,
I just wanted to say, it's not only ferrets, it's like all sorts of
weird it's true, brains. Because also the primate brains and also at some points, especially with old brains, they are damaged and you need to reconstruct parts of the brain. So I think that there will be a combination in any case of manual and automatic processing, but of course, if it were possible to do the translation from T1 to T2 and vice versa for animal brains, it could be very, very useful.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
So fingers crossed.
Yes, thank you very much. If somebody else wants to share, I've heard of Segmentator. Yes. Do you want to come on stage quickly?
Yes, please, Virtual Mario.
Yes.
Replace me.
Oh, you can stay. We just.
I think I will just go and put a coffee to brew.
Mate.
Thank you so much for leading this project so spontaneously. Also, like you volunteered and you were volunteered. And
yes.
Thank you very much.
Glad to be a part of this. Yeah.
Hello, Virtual Mario.
Nice to see you.
Same thing.
Same.
Yeah.
Where are you based?
I'm based in Munich at the TUM as well, in the group of MR Physics.
Okay.
Yeah, university in the clinical research.
Yeah. And you have worked with Farouk?
Yes.
Farouk is the lead developer of Segmentator.
Exactly, as well. I was present when the whole project started, like 5 years ago or so.
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
You can tell the story of how we learned about Segmentator.
That was really sweet.
Yes.
We are on like Twitter.
But I mean, just I'm very curious about the story behind it.
It's one of these sweet stories that's a person we never met. We met 1 year after we made a paper together. And how we met was actually that on Twitter we have this brain catalog bot which tweets weird brains from time to time, like from the collection.
I thought,
and he was one not saying like, oh, so cool. He was saying like, this is awesome. Such a weird brain. Send me your weirdest data. I'm developing a tool. And I would like to test on like the worst data ever. And so he started with a dolphin. And I had segmented by hand like many slices. And I sent him the data. And 30 minutes after he sent me a segmentation that was like already so much more advanced than what I was able to do in so many hours of work, and was such a better starting point. And then he was part of the Primate project, and we segmented many primates together.
So actually, Katya and Farouk, they wrote this paper on the primate brains.
Yes.
And we met him after the paper was published.
Yes.
So like it's the best advertisement for online collaboration. It was purely online collaboration, and you can write the same papers as you write with people.
That's exactly what I was about to say. So these online channels allows us to interact and to know a bit of each other. And when we actually come to meet in person, we have this weird feeling of familiarity because we have heard about things that the other actually likes on Twitter or Mattermost and so on. And so it's super nice. It's super nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. I wanted actually to add something about it. I've seen the figures and this paper. This is actually one of the posters that I would like to hang in my office with this beautiful palette of brain from different species. That's super cool. Super cool.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So Katya put a very high resolution version of that image on Zenodo.
Okay, then I'll grab that one to make the poster.
Nico has it in his hands hanging.
Oh, cool. I'm jealous. So I need to move on.
Thank you. And I had 2 people reaching out to me. I feel very bad. That was a long time ago. And I'm now working on it. They wanted me to add a mouse and a rat and make the poster like to scale as well, so that they can have, because they're working more on the rodent side. So that's the next thing coming up.
And through the PrimeDE project, there's many more primate species that were made available.
Okay.
And Katya already started working with a few people that may be here on segmenting those new brains so that we could move potentially over 50 different primate species, which is fantastic. So that would make the V2 of the poster much larger and nicer. And again, like the tool is something that works online. You can be watching TV and then distractedly segmenting some weird primate brain. It's a nice thing to do during confinement.
And the collaboration with Farouk is like so sweet because he's the second author on my paper. Like my first ever paper, he's second author, a person I never met, and it was just like. And the sweetest thing that happened to me was I was invited to a brain hack to give a presentation. And I pulled up the tool we are using, the online tool, live. So I connected the night before to check that everything is going and like what I wanted to say. And the morning I give the presentation, the work was done. Like I connect them, like, so here we are doing oh, actually this is done. I had been connected
already
around the world and had finished the segmentation of the species. And we have a 3D rendering button so we can see on the fly that the brain was done. That was amazing.
So in the Wikipedia where people fix your typos, here they fix your segmentation.
Yeah. So this is everybody watching. Like, if you're interested in weird brains and have some time to use like your coloring book on weird brains, get in touch.
That's super cool. Also, with the expansion of the phylogenetic aspects of the different species, super cool.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's also data on behavior. That would be really a major thing to add. Be able to combine more diverse information about the social behavior or physiological parameters, like what's the size of their social group, or
and where do they live? Like how dangerous is it, or
their
how's
weight.
the group sizes? How like supportive they are, or how valid it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Phylogenetic analysis. That's another person that Katia met on Twitter. This community of evolution and ecology, and has been very, very interesting to interact with him.
Yes, Russell Dimage is his name.
Yes.
And it's also just the person that said on Twitter, like, oh, this is cool. And then we met I was trying to use an algorithm that at some point I just struggled and we were not getting anywhere with it. And I contacted the developer, which is like our deep learning specialist that we have in our team now, also a person that we just met on Twitter. And he said, actually, the project you're doing is super cool, and you may want to get in touch with this other person who is also now like working with us on a daily basis from Australia that we wouldn't have met otherwise. So we hope that this BrainWeb community is also like will become a place where things like that can happen, and where we facilitate collaboration in that way.
So this is taking the maximal advantage of the situation, of the current public health situation.
Yeah, that's just like what's the kick. We had this idea like for a long time, we've been discussing, and then now we were like getting together the like few people we were like saying, okay, now we're gonna do it.
Definitely. I like Neuromatch, and let's see how, for example, the hackathon for OHBM actually move on, because now they say that it's so it is decided already that it's going to happen online as well, right?
We invite Remy on stage, who is one of the hackathon co-chairs for this year.
Oh, perfect.
But there's this whole
everything about the
online. Yeah.
I don't think he's allowed to disclose any.
Well, I mean, hey, well, I'm about to tell you that we're gonna have to sort of like figure something out. I mean, everyone knows that OHBM now is going online. So yeah, that's it. And we are brainstorming on how to sort of like adapt. But that's also I mean, it's also one of the reasons why like I'm here. I'm trying to see how we can learn from like just organizing all those things online directly, because that's pretty cool. I mean, it's a bit challenging, and I'm sure like I'm not sure like everyone realizes, but in the background you have like 5 people just like switching windows all the time and typing on 3 different chats at the same time. It's just
juggling everything.
Yeah, it feels very smooth on the surface. In the back, it's slightly different, a bit more hectic. Yeah, definitely.
I know what you think, Remy, but I have the impression that you maybe all know this gag. I think it was a Dutch comedy group where they were. It's called Introducing the Book. If you Google that, so you have this old monastery, and then you have the guys that are writing in the paper roads, and then there's a guy that brings the first book, and it's like, and they don't know how the book works because they are used to unrolling the thing when they need to write and read, and probably a lot of this working online will be also getting rid of the paradigms that we inherit from in-person communication. No, like there's so many things that are really a limit when you are working in person, but that completely disappear when you are like just in front of your computer in your place, and realize which are those. Like for example, the fact that we were thinking about doing a hackathon. It would last 3 days, but actually we're already at home, so we don't have to go back home after 3 days.
Exactly. Hackathon can go on.
Yes,
forever.
Yeah, like as you would work with a person that's sitting next door. You just you work whenever you want, and that's it, no? And so the borders kind of go away, and it's massive.
Yeah, definitely. So it's a continuum, and actually the technology was already in place. I mean, most of the pieces were already in place. Like having relatively good internet connection, having like the computer being already personal and all those things. But there are people that sometimes find a bit difficult to make the next step, and move on things that can be done online, but I prefer to do it like more traditionally, and that for example happened to us at the lab, and now we are holding the group meetings in Zoom, and things are moving smoothly. So those kind of things. So this special situation that we are living right now can bring a lot of good things at the same time, right? So take the best out of everything. So
yeah, it reminds me of what some people are saying about doing like better, like open and reproducible science, is that it was not really possible like, 20, 25 years ago, but now we have the infrastructure to actually do those things and to go a bit more virtual. So definitely, yeah, some things are possible now that just weren't before. So that's definitely a big difference there for sure.
Yeah, and also to comment on Roberto's comment about that you're working with someone on the same thing that maybe a person that is next door to you is also related to. This is related to the experiences in the breakout sessions. I was curious about the Feast to Bits project. So I joined the break room with Stefano and actually find out that we already met last year. But back then I was working a different project and his project was different about was about something different, but it's
in the chat.
exactly. It's related to a project that is happening at the lab where I'm working now. And people have found already solution, but about the neuroimaging data, so they already migrated to the bits structure, thanks to Valentin and to Gabriel as well. But they haven't incorporated the physiological data into the bits structure. And this is exactly what Stefano's project is about. So it wasn't what I was expecting, but I found out something else that is useful for the lab which I'm working. So and we met already in San Sebastian last year in November. So it's random.
We have them also.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. That's lovely.
People are going.
Anybody else wants to share experience that you bring back from the breakout room or that you would like to
Actually, while someone is waiting to come on stage, I can actually give you a bit of a...
I'm also going to share my experience. Yeah. Thank you guys for organizing and for taking care of everything. And by the way, the website looks far from being work in progress.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I can give like a brief update of what we talked about on the breakout room about the sort of how to better curate our list of tutorials and resources. So apparently what we're going to do is that we're going to sort of break down all the material that already have into like smaller sort of subsections and try to at least give it a better rendering, most likely using the MK docs that the BIDS specification project is using, for example. So yeah, that's at least, and if we encounter issues on the way or realize, oh, there would be a better way to do this, I guess it's going to be a bit of a test run in the coming days to see how that goes. And I think it's going to also be the chance for a couple of people who have joined to sort of learn a bit of Markdown on the way. So this should be exciting, definitely.
Well, nice. Yes.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Be improved from here.
Sorry.
So the result can just improve.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, definitely the end product will be better than what we already have. And people are going to be learning on the way. So that's the kind of thing that makes me happy.
Yeah, this is organic collaboration.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, guys, thanks a lot for everything. And then
thank you so much.
We'll see you around.
Yeah,
maybe we say we were thinking to connect tomorrow, like European time, for a coffee, and then start into the day.
Mm-hmm.
We will probably meet like on Jitsi, because then we can really see everybody's faces, and I like that everybody go and unmute themselves. And so we will send a link around, but it's going to be the link that was on the website, like the Jitsi/BrainWeb, and that's where we can have coffee together tomorrow. Now I don't know what to say, which time.
Which time in which time zone?
Yeah.
Yes. But for the European coffee, it would have to, like 10 a.m. is reasonable, no? What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, well, don't ask me. I'm like a super early bird, right? So you don't want to ask me.
But maybe we can have one coffee like at UTC 12 p.m., which is like 10
can have several coffees.
And no, that's the other way around. 8 a.m. UTC, so that it's 10. And then like 6 hours later again, or 8 hours later again. We will diffuse this information on the website because we have to catch up with the organization team.
Or just have like exactly like multiple an agenda of coffee sessions at Jitsi, and then we can just, for example, write spontaneously on Mattermost to see who is available or who is awake already.
That's perfect. And any link you want to put to the agenda, like we will take them out now because all the topic rooms have ended, so we will delete them from the Google Sheet. But like you can use this Google Sheet all the time, like, and the link will be on the website. Like whenever you want to meet the bigger community and you want to communicate that, you can use the same Google Sheet.
And what's nice is that if for our projects we need help on something that we don't know about, we can quickly check in the skills in the graph and try to think the person that would have the right skills for what we need.
Yes.
And I mean, I also want to point out that if people want to use just a Jitsi of the BrainWeb, just, they want to have a break and they're having coffee and they don't want to be on their own when they're at home, just like send a message into the Mattermost channel of the BrainWeb. And I'm sure some people would be happy to just like, come for a chat, definitely. So it should also feel like, just like you have like a coffee place when you're at a real hackathon, you can just use that, say, hey, I'm going for coffee, who's coming? And then you just, you can just, just meet people. So that's, just feel free to use it that way.
Cool.
Fantastic. Okay.
Good.
And see you tomorrow. And we will diffuse the YouTube link later.
Sounds good.
That's perfect. Anybody else wants to say something, like step on stage? Please ping us. And otherwise, we will cut the crowdcast.
Sounds good.
Okay. Then see you all tomorrow. And thank you all for joining. That was fantastic. Bye-bye.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.